Hey Liberator, happy Wednesday and welcome to Liberation Confabulation. I'm your host, Anna Kate, here to help you liberate your awesome in 6 areas of your life. This week, we're going to talk about emotions. It is the beginning of 2019. It's the beginning of the year. And we can start to think about dieting or getting back in the gym or doing all of these things. So when we say the word body image, what does that mean to you? Is that a positive thing for you? Is it a negative thing? We're going to talk about a few key things right here. So I want you, we talked about this, that the number on the scale doesn't determine anything about you. It doesn't say anything positive or negative. It's just a marker, right? So when you look at yourself, where do you find your value? Is it in that number on the scale, or is it in how good of a friend you are and how thoughtful and considerate you are? Is it in how much your spouse or your friends love you no matter what that scale says? That you can be an incredibly caring, devoted, and loving mother and do it all like the superwoman that you are, regardless of what that number on the scale says. So let's talk about that. Thin does not equal happiness or money or fame or peace or less stress, right? But we put all of this angst and all of this pressure and all of these things onto us being thin. I have been tracking my measurements since 2011. It's something that I do once or twice a year if I'm preparing for a show or I get that weird neurotic thing in my brain. I start to track everything. And over the last 10 years, I have learned that I'm never really happy with my body. My life does not get better when I'm thin. Newsflash. But in the middle of it, I can't see that, right? And sometimes neither can you. So you'll be standing in front of the mirror and making all these changes, or I talk to clients all the time and they're like, I only lost 2 pounds over the last, 2 weeks. I'm like, that's incredible. You have maintained a 2-pound loss, which means that you're moving in a positive, right direction, that things are moving. We're not fluctuating up and down, but that you can manage to keep that scale, which is just one marker, down 2 pounds over an extended period of time. That means we're moving in the right direction. So I have lots of markers that I like to use. And we can actually talk about that and find the numbers that have value to you. I actually did a training about that over in the Speakeasy. So if you want those details, drop a Speakeasy below and I will make sure that you get those, get that training. And also, I'm offering this conversation. So wherever you struggle with body image, right? It's a conversation that we can have. So I'm offering coaching on this. I will post the link when we're done. So you can take advantage of getting in some one-on-one coaching with me to work through this because it's a big deal. I don't care how clean your diet is, how you weigh the food, how you scale things, how you're just kind of neurotic about what you put in your mouth and how you're exercising and how your clothes fit and all of these things. You can't strong arm your way to success. Because if you strong arm your way, then you're going to get tired and you're going to get burnout and it's not going to be any fun. Eating is something that you're going to do for the rest of your life. So you might as well eat in a way that you not only enjoy your life and your friends and your family, but you also enjoy the body that you get to do it in. It's so important that we do the emotional work and the self-love, that we can stand in front of the mirror and tell ourselves how much we love each other, just like those people around us tell us that we love each other, love us, right? So one of the things that I want you to do is I want you to name your alter ego, right? Name your alter ego. And every time you have that negative thought of, I have cellulite, you know what it means when you have cellulite? It means you have enough fat on your body that your brain will work properly more often than not, and that you could have a baby if you're in that baby range, right? That's what that means. That means that you've got something for your husband to walk by in the kitchen and smack. That's what that means, that you fill out your pants, right? So even if you are super thin, some of us have cellulite. Even when I was my thinnest, I still had cellulite. And that's what I focused on, right? Not the fact that I had lost 20 pounds and that I was thin. That's not what I saw. I saw the cellulite. I saw the lack of muscle. I felt the lack of energy. So while, yes, I wanted to be thin, and I can look back and say, hey, you know what? I'd love to weigh what I weighed when I was in high school, which is typically a normal range for me, but I wasn't happy then. I was not. Have you ever been there? Have you ever been at that place where if I could only be this, or if I could only have this, then everything else would work out? I promise you. Talk to 3 of your friends. If you were thinner, your marriage wouldn't be better. Your bank account wouldn't be bigger. You wouldn't acquire new skills that you've never had before. Being thin doesn't get you somewhere, right? We have to do that internal work. We have to build all the things that go with it and support it, right? So we switch from being thin to being the healthiest that I've ever been. You know what? I don't care right now. The scale says a number that I don't like, but you know what? I look at a different number and it's the highest number that's ever been. And I am incredibly impressed with that, because that's the number that I want to go up. And it's really, really important to me when I track my numbers that that number continue to go up. I don't care about the scale. The scale said 1,000 pounds and this number was up, and another number that I'm watching goes down, and another number that I'm watching is at 2, then I'm happy as a clam, because I'm healthy and I have energy and I have all of the things and the mental capacity to move in the way that I want to move, right? Remember, 3 or 4 years ago, I couldn't walk. And now I get to train and move my body, and I can open a bottle of water my own self. There was a time I couldn't do that. I did not have the physical dexterity in my hands to open a bottle of water for myself. But you know what? I was thin as all get out. I weighed 130 pounds. 6 foot tall. I was like this big around. I was thin. But that didn't get me anything. What are you hinging on you being thin, right? Or maybe it's on you accomplishing something or being something that when I get here, all of this will work out. All of this will be better. If you're thin, if you lose that 10 extra pounds, it's not going to make your husband finish a project around the house any quicker, or take out the garbage, or remember that it was your anniversary, or he's not going to learn to text you and tell you how adorable you are because you're 10 pounds lighter. The world doesn't work that way. But working through things together, building that self-love and doing that work on the inside to love yourself where you are. Everybody has a body, right? So maybe you're thinking that, if I was thinner, or if I had more muscle, or if I had this, then my dating life would be better. My marriage would be better, right? I'd get that job that I wanted. My business would explode if I just could lose the 10 pounds. Well, all the work that needs to be done on those relationships and in business have nothing to do. They're not related, right? But we put all of this pressure on how we look and what that scale says. So if you're ready to work on your body image and make those shifts, we can dive in deeper just for you. And I can give you some exercises and things that we can do in 20 minutes to move you in a more positive direction. This isn't going to happen overnight. Y'all know this is not a magic pill. I don't have any of those. If I did, then I'd be selling those. But that's not going to get you where you want to go for the long term. So you have to remember that eating is like breathing. When you stop doing it, things don't go and progress in a positive direction, right? So we need to maybe shift things around how food is fuel, and that you're not really restricted from eating anything. Do you know that? There are some incredible things that you can eat and have the body that you want. There's a science to it, and there's a method, but nothing really is off limits. One of the biggest questions that my girls always ask me is, don't take my wine. You cannot take my wine. You've got to build that in. And we can build that in and still have you make progress. But it all has to start on the inside and how you feel about yourself. So your homework for this week is to stand in front of the mirror, naked as a jaybird right out of the shower, and say 5 positive things about yourself. So maybe your butt is saggy or cellulite, or it's not as round and plump, or it's not whatever. You know what? I want you to stand in front of that mirror and I want you to say, I have a butt and I get to sit on it and it takes me from places because I can move that muscle. It's a big, thick muscle and I love that I have it. Because how funny would you look if you didn't have a butt? Like, literally, like there was no muscle there. It was just bone. How would your pants look then? Or, y'all know this about me. When right before my wedding, my hair fell out. Because that was fun. So I would sit in front of the mirror crying because all of my hair that was growing back looked like a buzz cut, like all over my head. Like it was nuts. But I would sit in front of the mirror and say, my body is healing itself and my hair is growing back better and faster than ever. 2 years later, look, it's almost down to my shoulders, right? It's right there. Y'all, I celebrated so hard when I got to put my hair up in a ponytail for the first time. The ponytail was like this big and I had about a bajillion bobby pins in it, but boy, I got that sucker up there. I got my hair into a ponytail and it was the most incredible thing, right? This too shall pass. Where you're at right now is not where you have to stay. So I love and accept my body today. It helps me do the things that I love to do. It helps me love my children and love my spouse and snuggle with my animals. Y'all, my dogs don't care. They have no clue. They don't care. As long as I'm eating something good and I get to share it with them. And that I'm home to snuggle with them and give them lots of kisses, that's what they care about. They don't care about the scale. They don't care about my body fat. They don't care about my visceral fat. They don't care about my heart rate. They don't care about my numbers. They care if I'm here. They care if I'm here to love them. That's what's important. So, name 5 things. List them off. And you know what? Some days it may just be like, I have hair And I have skin covering all the right parts of my body. Because think about if you didn't. Number 2 is that from now, January 16th to January 31st, you have the opportunity to take advantage of one-on-one coaching with me for a 20-minute session. So this is a special offer and a special price. Typically, I sell these slots for $45. They are $14 until the end of January. There's also going to be an added bonus once you complete that call that I'm not offering to anyone else. You cannot find this anywhere. You have to take advantage of this training call between now and January 31st. So these slots are going to fill up quickly, so make sure that you get on. The link will be posted below, so schedule it in your calendar. If the times don't work for you, please private message me and we can come up with something and see if I can open up another time. I know some of you work night shifts and are traveling and things happen like that. But this, I promise, is going to be well worth your time. Because what could be on the other side of that door? What would happen if we changed your body image even just a little bit to move in a positive direction? How would that change your 2019? All right, guys. Ask your questions below. I will make sure that I come back and answer them. Thank you for joining me live here on Liberation Confabulation. You know what to do. Go out and liberate your awesome. I'll see you next week.